What's going on? Trusty Cruikshank here with some more time to inspire the community about salvation. I'm hanging out in the area of soul science. In the area of soul science pertaining to when I present that while fellowshipping with the Creator at the beginning of my early elementary school years, the Creator had me outside of my left ear. He had me to enter into my left ear, and then entering into my left ear, there on the canal, I go from the ear canal through the oval window, and now through all that, I'm there, then standing on my tongue. And so, in continuing here, there is ear, and then Terrell, and then ear. So it was ear, and then it was Terrell to say standing on my tongue, Terrell, tongue, standing on my tongue, Terrell, and then my right ear. So entering into my left ear, to stand on my tongue, and then after to say there a tad bit, now I'm outside of my right ear. But it continues, then doesn't have it, so where I go into my right ear. I'm getting to that a little bit later. So again, ear, Terrell, ear. So we're Terrell, then we're ear, and then I'm Terrell, like in between my ears, and then ear, and then Terrell, ear, Terrell, ear. So the graph said ethical to eat. Ethical to eat. So I go into my left ear, stand on my tongue, and there a tad bit. And then when brought outside of my right ear, it's like, okay, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be entering into my right ear, just like when outside of my left ear, I entered into my left ear. This to say gives that ethical to eat, ethical to eat, ear, Terrell, ear. But while outside of my right ear, to find to say in psychology or on the articulate side, it has the pertaining to selfishness, where we are selfish, we are not selfish, but selfishness in that area of brain work, so to say. So while outside of my right ear, in grasping that study or things going over to unselfishness or the topic of selfish, where we can get unselfishness. To have selfish doesn't mean that we are being selfish, even so called to be selfish, but to know there is selfishness there, and if we're not selfish, then it becomes unselfishness. So this is where things went over into me not entering into my right ear like I did while outside of my left ear. Again, to give thought to, I'm about to be entering my right ear like when outside my left ear, entering into my left ear, and this pretty much will give ethical to eat. Ethical to eat. Ear, Terrell, ear. While outside my right ear, before going into my right ear, are a halt. And then me not going into my right ear, Vaporella was fellowshipping with her mother, Lilith. And so in grasp of that, gals want to be known by guys, and guys want to be known by gals. So instead of me entering to my right ear, there was allowing that gal to be known by guy and guy to be known by gal. So now things go over into experiencing that Vaporella fellowshipping with her mother Lilith. This is where things went forward, even so to say to my now of questioning, was Terrell sent from a freedom fighter or a terrorist to graduate college in psychology? Now, Vaporella is known as a freedom fighter. To ask, where does Vaporella comes in to all this pertaining to psychology, where she holds a skull, where we find her holding a skull. And the skull in psychological studies is known to be as weaponry that protects the brain. Again, was Terrell sent from a freedom fighter or a terrorist to graduate college in psychology? And then so close is the spelling, Terrill, to say to terrorist. So again, it continues. I don't go into my right year. It's more like I went from there, early parts of elementary school years, to graduate my first 4 years of college in psychology. In continuance, um, while fellowshipping with the Creator, I'm introduced to technology. And before being introduced to technology as psychology, let's say, I always thought it to be culturally insignificant for psychology to introduce itself to technology and vice versa, technology introducing itself to psychology. The creator, he found it to be culturally significant. So here's where he introduces me as psychology to technology. Finding the illustration like so. So technology or psychology is sitting in technology now, right? And like, I always thought this to be culturally insignificant. I'm studying psychology. I'm not studying technology. So I'm sitting here like, what do you do with this? Again, I study psychology, I study technology, and like, it's one of the first thing to do to say it. Even so, to say vice versa, technology is the study of technology, not psychology. So technology is sitting there like, man, what the heck do I do with this psychology? Just sitting there, just sitting there. And so the mathematics of 1 plus 1, where combining the two, well, it goes over to technologists or technologists. Psychology, where the psychologist is found, the technologist. So 1 plus 1, and then again, things go over to technologists. Now, I think of my human spirit and my personal take on psychology in my early years of study, again, finding it culturally insignificant to introduce the two, but finding the creator, he found it culturally significant to introduce the two. And so I was then introduced to technology. With this, there is where working at the novelty that I present, Batwing, where it gives thought to technology, and where in the 1 plus 1, psychology plus technology, that goes over to technologists, where to find out things go over to like safe suit, to say business suit, in identity, to say of safe suit, where we find the description of safe suit, SAFE, safe suit. So again, psychology sitting there, just introduced to technology, and the grasp at finding it first to be a cultural insignificant thing, but creator found it to be a significant cultural thing. And so they was introducing, but not at first, hasn't so much was the 1 plus 1 figured out, but then in the figuring out of things went over to technologists. And then things got on its way safely, to say, not dangerously, where safety suit, where we hear the novel characters in the Batwing get up while the Batwing suit, where it is described as a safe suit, a safety suit, a smart suit, safety suit. That's just to say that was a smart to introduce psychology into technology and allowing the sum to be technologists. So continuing, there is where in this area of things found is traditionally masculine and traditionally feminine, right? An illustration gave pertaining to say Batman was in a TV show, good TV show, and if he had not stopped to pray, it would have went on as a bad TV show. But he stopped and he prayed to higher power. He prayed to the Creator, and so after he prayed and closed the prayer, well, it continued as a good TV show. Finding it presented to me like that, so in the area of soul science I found interesting and thought out presented. All right, blessed vegetation, Lord, let do to me, needs do to me, want to do in your son, Jesus' name. I thank you for it, able to receive. We thank you for it. All right, y'all. Get to next time. Terrell, T. Cruikshank hanging out in the area of soul science, saying peace.